Oh, Shawn, our next topic. Tim Pool and the quartering both got swatted heavily yesterday.
Mm.
Now, this is concerning, obviously, because I'm starting or restarting up this political channel. And for anybody that comes on with me, if this happens to get noticed, or if it starts taking off, um, you can't speak your mind without the threat of violence. I don't know how these people can look me in the face and call me a fascist without, laughing. And maybe they do in the background. It's like, yeah, we're fascists. We absolutely are. We just want to be the ones in charge. Maybe that's
that's what it really is, right? It's they're not anti-cop, they're not anti-gun, they're not they just want to be the ones in control of those things.
Yeah, they don't want you to be in control of your own that's why they're trying to raise the age of the gun ownership. I think that ties in nicely to that topic because the whole point of having an armed populace is a populace that you can't bully around.
Yeah.
They put Australians in friggin' concentration camps. The Chinese, they welded into their apartments to die.
I saw a little screenshot of a tweet, and it said some big brain Aussie's like, as an Australian, I don't understand why anybody needs an AR-15. And a guy responds, but so we don't get put into a concentration camp for not taking a shot for a virus that has a 98% survival.
How was that not abuse of power? And we were talking about the woke corporations earlier, and I'm just shocked that I'll give the corporations this. They figured out how to use the tools of the cult. And that's what has happened. I'm watching all these lefties suddenly defending the giant corporation against the little guy and pretending that the little guy is the one with all the power. It's ridiculous.
It is, yeah. They've done such a weird 180 from their... when was Occupy Wall Street?
2011.
Yeah, so they went from that to being, how dare you attack our giant mega corporation?
Sucking Mickey Mouse's dick now, going, I'm defending the oppressed. I'm like, what? While people get arrested at Disney World constantly for grooming.
Yeah.
And child trafficking and all kinds of stuff. I'm like going, okay, what? There are days where you just feel like I fell down the bunny hole.
It's the greatest psyop that's ever been pulled. Like no World War II deception campaign has ever been as successful, was ever as the convincing the left from going to go from anti-big corporation for the little guy to being screw the little guy. These big giant woke corporations that how they even did that. It would be interesting if I was, if I had the kind of time and energy to go back and research and see like the way how they did it.
It's a tool for the cult.
Well, they offered them convenience, I think. So, like Jeff Bezos had Amazon, and look at all this stuff, and then Disney and Marvel produced all this stuff, and then we're on the side of the gays and the trans kids and all this stuff, but look, and we provide you all this stuff you love. That has to be it, right?
Well, let me ask you, if the cult is, how many cults can you think of? I can at least think of two right off the top of my head, but they usually end in some sort of weird mass suicide, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the trans movement, which has become a social contagion,
to put it lightly,
and has latched on to a lot of kids who are lonely, who are struggling. Who wasn't lonely and struggling through their teenage years? I think even the popular kids, I think it's a tough time. Now you have social media, which...
It doesn't help that we live in hell world now, too.
Yeah, you got orders of magnitude there. And they're talking them into, having this really bad surgery. And then, at post-surgery, at least 45% of them, in 7 to 10 years, kill themselves. How is that not a cult ending in mass suicide? They're just spreading out the suicides,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
They're not doing it all in one shot. But it's the same. That's what's happening. I can't believe how big corporations and big government have figured out how to get people to willingly, with smiles, walk themselves into a wood chipper?
I don't know.
And I talked about this with George a little bit on the what is a woman thing. But I mean, that's what it is. And if they're not doing all that, then they're becoming little revolutionaries and like, we don't want you armed, and all cops are bastards, and defund the police.
We want the government that we don't. It was so funny to me when Trump was president, and at the same time Trump was a Nazi fascist, but at the same time we want all guns gone from everybody but the government that's headed by Nazi fascists that we are afraid of, deathly afraid of.
Well, so these people want the power for themselves, and they have no problem using violence to get what they want, because they're basically have the emotional stability of a 3-year-old. And next thing you know, Tim Pool in the corner, he gets swatted repeatedly. Apparently what happened last night with Tim Pool, and I know that's how I started this thing, I want to get back into it, but the Tim Pool one, I guess, was so credible that they had to leave the premises for 3 hours, and they just left. I don't know if you knew this or not. Well, I'm gonna get into that a little bit later, but they left the camera on for 3 hours just looking at an empty room, and that had more viewers than your average CNN show. It's an empty room. But I mean, if you're leaving the premises for 3 hours, okay, they're not looking for a gunman, they're looking for a bomb.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
That's what that is, yes.
So I mean, I'm a fairly regular viewer of Tim Pool, and
about you.
It's not the one where you put in the quarter and the little thing slides up. Not that kind of view.
Oh, okay.
Just that I have you for that. He's got a lot of security at his place. It's way off of nobody would have been able to get in there and do that.
Yeah, but they still got to do it as a CYA kind of thing.
Well, I would buy that. I would buy that if they weren't sitting with their thumbs in their ass in Uvalde.
Well, that's the thing, though. Tim is big, and there's a lot of people watching him, and
that's not why they went nuts with that. They went nuts with Tim because they know that there is nothing going on with Tim, and they can do all this stuff because they know they're in no danger. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be hard on the cops here, but I mean,
no, that was the point I was going to make, but you cut me off. But that's okay. That's all right.
My fucking channel now, buddy.
That's all right. You're in charge. You're the one that runs Bartertown. I'm sorry.
I am master and blaster. I mean, you're right. That's it. That's what it was. Is that they know they're in no danger. When they know they're in danger, we've seen it with these school shootings, not just here, but the one in Florida. I forgot. Parkland shooting. They won't do anything. I mean, the cops. Look, I know there's a lot of good cops out there, and I know that growing up, we had small town cops, and they were very nice to the kids. They'd hand out football cards. That they did a thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think all the NFL did that, where they were, trying to foster community and all that kind of stuff. And that's gone away. And part of it is that the cops are scared shitless because they don't know if some weirdo Antifa, you're going to end up on Audit the Audits channel.
Yeah, and they haven't done themselves any favors.
They have not. They haven't either. Yeah.
So you can't really blame.
Well, I'm just saying it's a complicated tapestry.
It is.
Right?
Yeah,
and it's all feeding into each other, and there's not, and it just the populace does something shitty, the cops do shitty, it just gets worse and worse. The next thing you know, you're just sitting on this powder keg ready to blow. Now, when you say, "Well, we got to take away all the people's guns," it's like, have you really thought this through?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what they want, because then they're the only ones with them. And then who controls... Back during the Summer of Love, I thought it was very amusing because they started the defund the police stuff. And I remember seeing how outraged the LA and San Francisco cops were, and they were talking about them leaving and stuff and all this stuff. And I told a friend of mine, I said, the irony here is that without a doubt, every one of the cops in both of those cities, I mean, there might have been a handful, but the vast majority of them cops voted for the same politicians that were defunding them and running them off. But it don't matter. And they'd still vote for them again if it wasn't for that. But when it become that, suddenly it was, whoa, oh my God, that they're attacking us. We're a protected class. We're the king's men. Well, what is this?
Well,
but I guarantee you they voted, every one of those city councilmen and all these city, politicians, those cops, they have the same politics. Up until the summer of love, where of course a politician will throw even the
abandon them.
Yeah,
good job, guys. You picked the right horse there, didn't you?
Yeah.
I guess I don't understand. Like, even though I kind of disagreed with Occupy Wall Street, because I disagree with protesting companies that make a profit. Honestly, I do have a problem with them work in the government and so they can get all kinds of tax loopholes and work in the system. I agree with all that. Getting regulations that are in their favor, all that kind of stuff. That needs to go. But just, protesting a company because they make a lot of profit and they pay their CEOs well, that just sounded dumb to me.
It was, there was a nucleus of a reasonable idea, deal there, but then it turned into capitalism bad. You're rich and I'm not, and I'm jealous, and that's really what this is about, is what it turned into.
Well, and I'm trying, I don't want to get too far into the Occupy Wall Street, but it's like I understood where they were coming from. Yeah. There was a logic behind their reasoning.
At the outset,
yeah. But once the woke brigade came in and took over, and has taken over for the last 9 years now, it's turned into just this cognitive dissonance that I just can't. I don't know what they want. I don't think they know what they want. They know they want power. That's all they know they want. They want what they want when they want it, and that could change every 5 minutes. And there's no principles and there's no consistency involved in what they want. You don't like cops, but you don't want anybody to have guns. You don't want people to protect themselves. You seem okay with swatting, except that if it happens to you, you're fine with people banging on the Supreme Court doors during the Kavanaugh hearings, but you're freaking out about January 6th. I mean, it's all just, I guess, tribal. But I mean, like, if that's as far as you get in your thinking, it's like my tribe good, your tribe bad, without any self-reflection on whether or not long term these are good decisions to solve problems. I don't understand I don't understand any of it anymore. I mean, I understand where conservatives, where anybody who doesn't fall in with the woke is now a far right nutbag. That's what they say, right? But I mean, it's just basically people are saying, hey, free speech is good, or the Constitution is good. We need due process. They throw all that off the window for just pure chaos. And I'm not even talking anarchy. I'm talking chaos.
Yeah. Anytime they want to move their goal, anytime they want to win at something, all the rules, all the old moral standards go out the window. And it's okay because the justice system lets them do it. The Summer of Love is a perfect example of that. They burnt, what was it, billions and billions of dollars of destruction, burning right in the middle of D.C. Just who knows? I mean, the list goes on, but not one person.
Anybody? There's people still sitting without trial in the hole for January 6th.
Yeah.
And it was stupid. January 6th was stupid. I mean, I was just like, God, what are you doing? What are you doing? You think they're and they did. Yeah. I said, they're going to use this against you. Boy, did they. It's still going on 2.5 years later.
I said it at the time, and I'll say it here, but I said, it's like, if they're not going, if everybody going to that doesn't show up with guns, there's no point going. Because that's the only real, that's the only, going to it like that, you're just going to go vent your spleen. You're going to give the media something to run with from now until the end of time.
Well, all these useful idiots who believe that they're fighting whatever, so they're the ones that are swatting the quartering in Tim Pool, right? They're also the same group that are burning down towns, burning down small businesses, creating havoc, whatever they're doing. Now, the people in charge, those are useful idiots to them. And once they get full control and power, the first one's gone.
Yeah,
you're not going to want to keep a bunch of
yeah.
malcontent revolutionaries around. They're going to cause problems for you.
Because they've already shown they go a little too far, even for the.
Well, did you see Biden's motorcade?
I did, yeah.
So some pro-abortion lady ran out in front of Biden's motorcade. That's what it appeared to be. She was like, a ban on abortion doesn't stop abortion. And she was. But I think she was far left.
Yeah, she was. I read the details on her after they booked her and stuff. She's a, oh God, what was the name of that group? She's a member of that Ruth Sinas group.
Yeah.
And she's
I mean, well, I know it's the Secret Service. We're all over her, but we never see her again.
Yeah. Oh, they'll kick her loose pretty soon because they'll be like, well, she just meant well.
Maybe they'll see.
Give her a presidential medal.
No, you went after one. You went after one of the elite.
That's true.
You went after one of the elite. Now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's going to be a message to the rest of the rabble. You do our bidding. You don't come after us.
That's true. Getting back to the Tim Pool and Jeremy thing.
Let's wrap that up. Give me your final thoughts.
Funny to me because those two are so non-offensive to me. Like Now, I know to your typical leftist, they seem like, Pinochet. Yeah, but they're so milquetoast in their takes, and I don't mean that. I just mean that in like, there's nothing even close to unreasonable. If the left would even listen to them, they go, well, these guys really aren't as bad as I've been led to believe. They're pretty.
Well, that's what makes them powerful. That's what makes them powerful, though.
That's why they hate them.
That's why they hate them. As soon as somebody listens to them and realizes they've been lied to, then the house of cards falls, and they can't have that. But that's what it's all about.
And I doubt any of them even know or remember. They've purged it from their own mind. The time when both of those guys, and I would say all the time, like, I'm a liberal. I think the Courting probably still says it all, occasionally, or reminds people, but that's the thing, right? Like the old style. Did you ever think you'd see a day that you kind of miss the old, like mid '90s type Democrat liberal? No. Like that would be something you look back on with nostalgia.
Honest to God, I think that ever since Clinton got into office, that this was all bound to happen because those two are mobsters.
Yeah,
and they destroyed all kinds of decorum, and not just getting a blowjob by an intern. I mean, the things they did in the White House set the stage, and the people that would come after them, that cut their teeth under them, were always going to be worse as time went on.
Yeah, they expanded
that's how you end up with an Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah.
And the squad and all these insane nonsense people. It started with the Clintons. I really believe that. I think the Clintons was the beginning of the end of all this.
It really was. It was also, that was the start of the political correctness time too, which led to wokeness,
Yeah. Now, I mean, violence in politics, that's nothing new. I mean, people are acting like it's so bad. No, you just lived through a time where you didn't have a lot of this, but if you didn't live in the 60s when you had Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, Malcolm X. I mean, everybody got shot and killed.
Yeah.
Right? And then in 81, you remember they killed Anwar Sadat, they shot Pope John Paul, and they shot Ronald Reagan. I mean, this is like, nothing new. The violence is nothing new. But it is a little new that we're going after news personalities and TV shows like this.
Yeah, like YouTube
channels?
Yeah, sort of like non-combatants, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are they non-combatants?
Well, I mean, they would have been in the old days. They would have been like, well, that's just some guy voicing, like my neighbor voicing his opinion. Now it's like, well, they don't go for the people that are the ones that are the real cause of their problems. They go after everybody else around,
I guess I don't know how it would have been because the internet really changed the game.
The 24-hour nonstop cable news cycle did not help either.
No, it did not.
That is encouraging. Every time I think, like, when something happens, I'm like, the news media, they just love it. They're just, and it's like, they have to know that what they're doing encourages the next one, that there's just no way that they are that stupid. They just don't care. They're malicious. I don't care
let's talk about that real quick. If you like that video, please subscribe to Drunken Yoda Unplugged, where we'll have videos, at least 2 or 3 every week, talking about the latest stories. You can reach me at Drunken Yoda 1, and of course, if you want to find the latest and greatest in movie and streaming news, you can visit us at lastmovieoutpost.com. Thank you. We'll see you on the next stream.